Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wayne Edwards. I'm the principal at UTC Heathrow, and welcome to our event tonight. What's going to happen tonight is there's going to be a number of people speaking in regards to what we do here at the UTC as I move around the building completely virtually. And you're going to be looking at all the different aspects that we do here. It's the best we can do currently. As soon as I can open the building, we will do live tours, but it's something very different. I'm just going to go on to some housekeeping, and with some housekeeping, it's really important. So if you've got any questions that you would like to ask, please put them in the chat function. And what we'll do is, as we're going along the tour, my colleagues who are in the building, who we're going to be speaking to, will answer those questions if they can. But if not, at the end of this tour, we're going to have a question and answer session with all of them on screen. So please, if you've got lots of questions, please ask. And I'm going to commence with a tour. So looking at the building, as we come into the building, and I'm stood in reception at the moment, and apologies that you can't see me, I'll flip the camera around as I do this. We have our vision of Activate Learning Education Trust, and for here at UTC Heathrow, it's all about transforming lives through learning. We have a learning philosophy that we use of brain, emotion, and motivation, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, and my colleagues will. And as we come into the reception area itself, we also have our partners, and we have a number of partners here from Fujitsu through to Heathrow Airport to Morgan Sindel, who's one of our gold partners as well, and others. And what's going to happen today, we're going to talk about our current partners, and we have a partner with us who's going to be part of that meeting today. But also we're going to talk about our new opportunities and new partners which are coming on in September. So over to the tour itself. So I'm going to walk through the building as we go. And as we enter, you get to a great feel of UTC Heathrow, because we have right in front of us, which is really great to see, is our engineering department. And we're going to finish down there in engineering. And we've got some great machinery down there, state of the art, as you would find in the workplace, very different to school. You name it, we have it. And there are a number of different engineering things that we do down there. And Ian Wilkins will talk about that a little bit later. So I'm going to move around the building itself. And this, as we walk around, is what we see when we come into the building. And we have a corridor as you initially come in. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But we're going to go upstairs first. And upstairs is really upstairs our dining room. And that's where the students eat. And we also then have our Fujitsu room and the maths department, and where CCF are based. When you come here, and we're going to see CCF, and they will talk about what we offer and what we do. So as I'm going to come up the stairs, I'm going to introduce you to Jess Keller. And Jess Keller is an assistant principal here, and he's going to talk you through what we do here as a whole, but then talk through what the Key Stage 4 curriculum is. So let me introduce you to Jess Keller. And over.
I'm going to do a quick tour of the first floor, walk you through maths, the Fujitsu room, pastoral office, and the combined cadet force. I'm going to show you the school canteen to begin with. We've got a freshly painted green wall, a large canteen area sufficient for all year groups. And adjacent to the canteen, we have the school hall. You can just see through those doors. We've got the school hall. Follow me this way, Edwards. On the wall, just outside the school hall, we have the Multi-Academy Trust, our Multi-Academy Trust, and our learning philosophy, which is brain, motivation, and emotions. We talk a lot about that in assemblies and tutor time. Here we have the school hall set up for mock examinations at the moment. So this is the school hall, set up with just over 100 desks. If you'd like to come this way, this is the remaining part of the first floor. So we've got the canteen as you came up the stairs, we've got the school hall. This area is the maths corridor. So we've got 3 maths rooms here. I'll showcase one of our maths rooms. This is a prime example of a maths room just here. We've got, this is phase 4 classroom, holding up to 24 students. On the very right, you can see our IT suite, which is endorsed by Fujitsu, one of our partners. This is used for independent study, cybersecurity, and some of the IT students use it in the sixth form, as well as Key Stage 4. Just on the very left, we've got another maths classroom. That's actually my classroom. And on the very left here, we've got another classroom ahead of you, and then we've got another classroom which we use at the moment as the pastoral support office. And this is for mentor interviews, careers interviews, and this is where students would come to see the support manager for the relevant year group. Also on the floor, we've got a designated classroom for the combined cadet force.
Good evening. My name is Daniel. I'm the head of the combined cadet. Sergeant Kabade, one of my senior NCOs, and Sergeant Kabade will tell you a little bit about what he does in the cadet force.
So right now, me being a sergeant in the CCF force, I am a stores person right now. So I'm managing everything between sorting out a uniform, issuing uniform, and replacing it. And also at times, I'm also helping others and other flight sergeants around, and my seniors more for their lessons, as well as I'm starting to get trained for my MOI so that I can teach a lesson by myself, along with junior people, and teach them to other cadets.
Can I just ask a few questions? I'm sure some of the parents are quite eager to know. So could you tell me a little bit about when the program runs, how long it's for, and the types of qualifications they gain?
Right, we are an extracurricular activity, so we run after school hours. We run on a Wednesday from 15:30 to 17:30. We will be adding another day when the school reopens in full on a Thursday, which will run the same times. Some of the things that we do here is that we'll teach them citizenship so they become good citizens within the community. Aviation studies, we'll teach them how an aircraft flies, the forces of drag, I forgot what they call now, drag, lift and weight, how that acts against the aircraft. They also have the opportunity to fly, and 2 years, well, before the lockdown, we had the average of 2 hours per cadet per year, which is a great advantage. As opposed to the normal things that an air cadet will do, get dirty, go out, play football, run, swim, things like that. And well, it's all about having fun, really.
Fantastic. And it's all year groups, is it? It's
all year groups, yes.
Okay.
From the moment they come in, any cadet or any student can join the cadet force, and you can stay here until you're 18, or until you leave the school.
Okay.
There are exceptional circumstances where you can come back to the cadet force as a member of staff. I'm sorry, but you keep moving. I keep looking away from the camera. But yeah, so it's open to all cadets, all grades of student. So we have the very, very, very intelligent students who tend to help the younger students, and it brings them along in their studies in the classroom as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great. One question from me. Atharva, you've been here 2 years as a student, and I'm sure the parents and prospective students would like to know a little bit about what is life like as a student. You're a sixth former, so you can tell a bit. You've been here now. This is your second year. You did year 12. You did a level 2 course, and now you started your level 3 course. So can you give me or give the audience a flavour of what it's like to be a sixth form independent? What's the day like and the workload?
Okay, well, the workload also depends on what the engineering subject is. Now, so far, I've had quite a lot of assignments. I can give you a round number of maybe 10 to 12. So that is kind of, it's a tight schedule. And plus, if you, just one tip to any students who are planning to join here next year as a year 12 or a sixth former, is that avoid trying to put your assignments at the last minute. You don't want to do that because it stresses you out totally. And my subjects currently I'm doing the extended diploma, so it's pretty fun. I'm getting to, of course, no practicals currently, but usually if I have any practicals, they're pretty fun, helping others, my colleagues, especially my friends, and the teachers explaining, especially. We have loads of good teachers, and it is fun to be around them and get supported and encouraged by them pretty much every day.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for that. And what are you studying?
I am studying the extended diploma right now.
Okay, in engineering.
In engineering.
Okay, fantastic. Right, back over to you, Mr. Keller.
Thank you, gents.
Thank
If you'd
you.
like to come this way, so Mr. Edwards started in the foyer before he came up, so you can just see the four windows, and you've got a great view above on the first floor, where you can look down and see a lot of the machinery and some of the things that the engineers will use. What I'm going to do before I finish my section of the tour is just talk you through the Key Stage 4 curriculum. So I'll talk a little bit about the Key Stage 4 curriculum, and then later in this tour I will talk about the Key Stage 5 curriculum. So the Key Stage 4 curriculum is made up of 6 compulsory subjects. So the core GCSEs, which are maths, English language, English literature. Then we have triple science, biology, physics and chemistry. We have our specialist subjects, which are engineering and IT, both are level 2 GCSE equivalents. And then the students have an option to either go for computer science or design technology. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Keller. So Mr. Keller's going to leave us in a second. We're going to head to our Morgan Sindel room. Morgan Sindel partner with us, and they've been with us over a year. And in a minute, I'm going to pass forward to Peter Jones to talk through Morgan Sindel. But Morgan Sindel have been very kind and sponsored a room for us with brand new computers. At the moment, there's going to be some new branding put on the wall, but this suite has literally been finished about 2 weeks ago. And the students, since they've come back since lockdown, it's in level 3 engineering, have been using this room to do lots of CAD drawings and different things. So I'm going to pass over to Peter Jones, who's going to explain a bit about what Morgan Sindel has done for us in relation to this room, what work experience and how they support us.
Thanks very much, Wayne. So yes, my name is Peter Jones from Morgan Sindel. I'm a business improvement manager. We are platinum partners with the UTC. I'm also on the board of governors as a link governor, covering leadership and management, which is all about really what we can do to help support the UTC to improve and support their development. So as Wayne said, we've supported the procurement of the computer-aided design facilities. And this is really important part of construction. Computer-aided design helps us to look at problems and solve problems whilst we're in the design phase, and that's a really important thing to do, so we become more efficient as we're delivering projects. In terms of the link to the employer engagement, we provide employer engagement projects that utilise all the different facilities that we've been talking about. So computer-aided design, we've talked about the engineering department, the IT suite, all of these things come together, whether in the world of the UTC or in the world of construction. And we also help as part of the employer engagement to develop skills. And again, this reinforces some of the things that we were just looking at with the cadets. So we help to develop skills around creativity, people staying positive, leadership, team working, and having the confidence, being able to build your confidence to be able to speak in front of other people, in front of other teams. So this is all really, really important and a really important facet of what we deliver with the UTC. I'll just hand you back to Wayne now. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter, for that. As Peter was talking, I made my way back down to the middle floor. You might see as I walk around the building, we've got lots of quotes on the wall, and that's all about inspiration and talking about engineering, and actually what we need to do in the world of work and with ourselves. One of the key aspects is we have spoken about, and Jess Keller, is about our brain emotion. tell you a little bit more about this as we go along, but we look at this in a practice that we're about the skills that the students need when they go into the world of work. It's not just about their academic ability. So the brain, emotion and motivation is really important to us. It affects how the brain, and also their emotions affect their motivation. And one of those aspects is what skills are we developing apart from those academic, and those are to do with our attributes, to do with resilience, being professional, being aware, being enterprising, and they are key aspects. Now, I've just entered science, and I'm going to introduce you to Skander Gopal and Fatima, who are head of science, or director of science, apologies, and a science teacher. And Skander's going to talk a little bit about what happens at Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5 in science. And Fatima is a new member of staff, so she can tell you what the UTC has been like since she's been here.
So hi everyone. So just to give you a little bit of information, I have been teaching here for 2.5 years now, coming up to, and it's been fantastic. I think this school in particular has a real emphasis on growth and people learning. Within science as such, we are, as you can see, within a totally state-of-the-art facility with really high-tech specification equipment. So literally all of our needs are taken care of in terms of delivering the AQA syllabus at GCSE and A-level as well. As we kind of being part of this whole College of Engineering, Maths and STEM subjects, we like to tie in with each other and collaborate amongst ourselves in such a way that actually the kids and the students get a really holistic and yet widely rounded education. Within science in particular, I feel our strength and our main emphasis is on introducing the students to real-world applications of science in such a way that really engages them and sort of piques their curiosity. I particularly am very fond of teaching A-level physics. That's one of my real kind of passions. And within that, it's really about engaging students in real world processes and ensuring that, you know, they understand the fundamentals of how science works in global society. I'd like to pass on to Fatima. You can tell us.
Hello, hi, welcome to Science in UTC Heathrow. Yeah, I joined in January, and I can honestly say this has been, I think, one of the best decisions of my life. I think the motto "transforming lives through learning" really is what it's all about. I think at the forefront of everything we do is our students. We want them to be empowered, to be resilient, to ask questions about what they learn, to support each other. And I think that is reflected in all that we do. So I really hope that you choose UTC Heathrow.
Thank you both. So as you know, Skander's quite rightly said, science, we do a lot about the holistic approach. Skander also teaches engineering, so there is a lot of transfer between the A-level physics and the GCSE down to the engineering department where we teach at Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5. So I just thought I'd let you know that actually our teachers are multi-skilled. So they very much go across curricular in their teaching and support every area within the school within the STEM-based subjects. So thank you both.
Cheers.
So as I continue to go around the building, so we leave one science room and we've got a little science corridor here. And as we go through this, we look through to 5 labs in total. And the chemistry lab where Fatima teaches and Satlin teaches chemistry and biology is here. And again, the state-of-the-art labs, they're not very old. The building's only 4 years old. And as we go, so I'm going to introduce you, and waiting for me is Mr. Surrey, and Aaron Surrey is assistant principal as well. And he's in charge of the English area, SEND and PPD. So I'm going to pass you over to Aaron.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all well. This is the LRC. As you can see, we've got a variety of resources. We've got further computer equipment at this end and down at the far end. On your left here, it's obviously closed now because all the students have left, but we have a homework club. We've got a small quiet breakout room in there where students can kind of if they have the need, there's that quiet space to calm down, refocus, make sure that the brain and emotion and motivation is all in the right place. Moving through the LRC, we have locker storage on both sides, where students can store their PPE, any equipment that they don't need to take home, any books that they don't need to take home. A series of small desks, as you can see. And on the left, we are coming to our 2 English classrooms. I myself am one of those teachers. So I look after, I teach English at 11, and I also oversee the English curriculum. I'll show you one of the classrooms very briefly. So it's a standard classroom. In terms of the curriculum that we cover, we do both literature and language. We have 6 hours of English a week, which is an excellent allocation and enables us to really focus on literacy skills and make sure that the students are well-rounded. In terms of the literature that we cover, we do an inspector course, we do a Christmas carol, we also cover the poetry, and camera. How about that? So, and Macbeth, obviously. And of course, language is also made up of 2 exams. So that's what we cover in English. As I mentioned earlier, we've got the IT resources, we've got the LRC that students are able to use, and we've got another IT room in here. I'll show you this very quickly. There we go. So as you can see, we've got a full suite of computers they're able to use for their learning. As you can see, the resources throughout the school are excellent, and the site is beautifully kept. So it's looking fantastic.
Thank you. So a little bit about the LRC. So our independent learning space, as we call it, or learning resource centre. It's about that independence, and students in the sixth form use this area. Key Stage 4 use this area, and the one at the other end. As part of that, we look at different aspects about their development in the IT industry, which is one of our other specialisms. We're very lucky we are an IT academy, and we're part of Microsoft IT Academy, and we do the professional qualifications for Microsoft, the Microsoft Office, as well as Microsoft Technical Associate Awards, and also within that, we can do some MRSCs as well. We're very lucky that one of our IT teachers is a Cisco qualified practitioner. So students in the sixth form have been able to get their Cisco qualifications in networking and cybersecurity, and also a Palo Alto Academy. So from a specialism point of view at the digital, there are lots of opportunities in the extracurricular to get these industry qualifications which support the additions of their normal academic program, make them more employable for the future, whether going into university or apprenticeship. As you can see below is the engineering suite, and we're going to head down there in a second. But before I go anywhere, I'm going to pass you over to Julie Fisher, who is also a parent and a parent governor.
Good evening, everybody. My daughter started in year 10 at the school. She'd previously been homeschooled. So as a parent who was completely new to the school system, I really wasn't sure what to expect. I have to say that I was really pleasantly surprised with the level of communication between the school and parents. If I ever had any concerns, they were very quickly addressed by email or a phone call. The benefit of a relatively small school is that the staff get to know your child pretty quickly. They don't get swallowed up in a school year of possibly hundreds as they might be in other schools. As a parent with a child interested in engineering, I was impressed with the workshop and the equipment that the students have access to. I was also very much drawn to the Careers and Pipeline programme, which brings the students into contact with potential employers. As a homeschooling parent, I was very keen to see what went on behind the scenes, so I decided to become a parent governor. joining the governing body back in November 2018. Over the last 2 and a bit years, I've been really impressed with the dedication and hard work that goes on behind the scenes, especially in the current climate, with arrangements having to be made for remote learning when necessary, and now, of course, going back into the school system. Everyone is constantly striving to improve the school and get the best possible outcome for the students. So if your child has an interest in engineering or IT, then I would have no hesitation in recommending that they apply to UTC Heathrow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Julie, for that. Again, we'll be on screen at the end after this tour to answer questions from you on a face-to-face. I'm now in engineering, so welcome to the engineering department, and this is probably one of the most exciting places to be. The equipment down here is state-of-the-art. You will never find this in any school around in this area, unless it is a specialist UTC, unless you're in the workplace, in the world of work. We have so much equipment here. I'm going to introduce you to Ian Wilkins, who is another assistant principal of school. He's in charge of the specialisms in engineering and teaching and learning, and he's going to guide you through what we do in engineering.
Hi everybody, good evening, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. The pleasure I have of being an engineering teacher in this school, literally everybody else is built around this workshop. The workshops, to give you an idea of the scale, are about 3 normal schools workshops. They're divided up into particular bays. Each bay has a particular use. We've got sets of milling machines and center lathes and pillar drills that everybody from Key Stage 4 right up through to Key Stage 5 uses. So on their first day in school, all the students will get to use all of the machines. We build them up. They join the school with us at a level 2 first certificate in engineering and or design and technology. So all the students will work in all the different materials using wood, metals and plastics. As they grow in confidence and they work on their coursework and they join us and move forward into year 12, working on their engineering BTECs. We have 3 levels of the BTEC. Everything is geared towards being worth 3 levels. Mr. Keller's going to talk about that a little later. But the engineering diploma allows all of the students, particularly those that are interested in going off to university, or a great deal of skill and expertise. The one thing that we have within the school that makes this school so much more specialist is the level of commitment and the teachers. Around the department, we have all sorts of different sets of classrooms. Each teacher is based in a classroom. And then when we bring the students out to workshops, they get to experience the different sets of equipment. Right now, we're looking at our CAD/CAM area. So we've got a plasma cutter, so it can cut sheet steel. We've got 3 sets and another set of 3D printers, a laser printer, a laser cutter, some CNC routers and CNC milling machines. So every student has the opportunity to be as creative as they can be, but we are developing the whole range of student ability to make them professional engineers by the time that they leave us. So as you can see, the workshop is huge. And to give you the scale, literally this is the heart of the school. Everything that's around us on the top 2 floors that you've been on the tour so far looks down. So when we're in the workshop, we really are on show. When visitors come in, when the employers come in through the front of the school and they're looking down into engineering, they can see everything that we're doing and all the work that the students do. I was just saying, at the end of the week, after we've spent the week doing everything we have to do as part of the national curriculum or the BTEC courses, then I get to work with the students and we are building, it's a Sherwood Ranger, it's a 2-seater, 4-wing Ranger. It's a fully licensed plane, it will fly when we attach all the wings and everything to it. The students work on this after school as part of our enrichment. It's a great experience. The level of technical detail and quality and accuracy that's needed to complete that is way beyond what I would have expected before I joined this school. I've taught locally at another secondary school. I was a design technology teacher before I came here. And when I say to parents and they come in around and they see this in the flesh, the level of excitement, the kids love doing this. It's something that we are really, really lucky that we've had the opportunity to work on.
Ian, what about other projects. So we've been involved with the Royal Navy and the Craftsman's Cup with the
As
Remy.
part of our cross-curricular work, linking in with the course that we do, one of the units that we take the students away for is the trip to the Royal Navy down in Portsmouth, and they get to spend the night on a destroyer. I've learned that I'm not going to enjoy sleeping on those bunk beds in the Royal Navy, but the guys there take our students on board, and they develop their practical skills, and then we take part in a competition the next day that's all about teamwork and building together and working together, and we develop a remote control water vehicle that rescues people or works whatever the Royal Navy wants us to do. And then we've also worked with the REME, the Royal Engineers there, to develop the Craftsman's Cup competition. That's part of the UTC's competitions, so national competition. And the last time it ran, we were the winning entry, and we developed a robot that was capable of recognizing an individual soldier in their battle fatigues, their camouflage, and would carry their backpack or equipment around following them. That was tremendous to see that happening.
Okay, great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So we're now at the end of the tour. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pass you over to Jess Keller in a second to talk through the qualifications we offer at Key Stage 5. But as Ian said, I'm standing in the end bay, and the camera is looking down the engineering department. We also have 2 CAD suite rooms, so where IT and computers are, plus upstairs facilities. So there are a total of 3 fully fledged computer rooms, plus the independent space area, and all the sixth form use laptops because they need them for their lessons as part of their assignment work, but also as part of their engineering or IT, from coding through to using the CAD software. So I'm going to pass you over to Jess Keller, and he's going to talk through the Key Stage 5 curriculum. And once he has finished talking about that, he's going to pass you over to Michael Halliday. Now, Michael Halliday works closely with me in the trust, and he's going to talk about the employer engagement that we have already, plus really exciting news for September onwards with some new employers coming on board. So over to you, Jess.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. In terms of the Key Stage 5 curriculum, as Mr. Wilkins mentioned earlier, all students will have to study 3 A-levels. Now, there is an A-level pathway, so students can opt to do 3 A-levels. The 3 A-levels that we offer are mathematics, physics, and computer science. We are looking into offering product design A-level, and that should be running from this September. So that will be a 4th A-level that we'll be able to offer. So it's maths, physics, computer science, and product design. The grade requirements for that are 5 GCSEs at 4 and above, and a grade 6 in the chosen A-level. So if students are looking to study mathematics A-level, they need a grade 6. Or if they're looking to study A-level physics, then they'll need a grade 6 in their double science or their triple sciences, depending on which one they choose. So if it's physics, we'll need a grade 6 in physics. If it's double science, it's 2 6s in science to be able to study physics. That's 5 GCSE passes in total with a grade 6 in that chosen A-level. Moving on, you'll see that the next slide is our technical pathway. Now, I've had a number of questions from parents watching today, and they've been asking about how they can choose BTECs as well as A-levels. The first thing is you opt to do a 3 A-level equivalent. So the very bottom technical pathway there, the BTEC level 3 extended diploma, can be in engineering or IT. So that's 3 A-levels. If the student opts to do 2 A-levels in engineering or computer science, that's a BTEC. So 2 A-levels in 2 A-level equivalent, which is the BTEC diploma in engineering or computer science. They can choose to do one of the A-levels that I mentioned earlier, the slide before this one. If the students opt to do 1 A-level, which is the extended certificate in engineering or information technology, then the students will have to do another 2 A-levels. So they may choose to do maths, physics, and maybe the extended certificate, or the extended certificate in engineering or IT, followed by physics and possibly computer science. So like I've said previously, it's 3 A-levels in total. For this program, or this pathway, I should say, you'll need 5 GCSEs at a grade 4 and above in particular, the student will require a grade 5 or above in mathematics. There's lots of content, particularly in the engineering, which is maths at grade 5 and above. So they need a good grounding in the mathematics. So grade 5 as a minimum, and 5 GCSEs in total, which are a grade 4 and above. I'm going to hand you over to Michael Halliday, who's going to talk you through employer engagement.
Thanks, Jess. It's lovely to be with you, students and parents, tonight. As I've been introduced, I'm Mike Halliday, and I oversee employer engagement across our multi-academy trusts. UTC, which is Heathrow, which is one of our flagship UTCs, is of course focused on providing young people with the opportunity to work with employers so that we can support all our students in preparing for and securing great destinations, whether that be to university, apprenticeships, or degree apprenticeships. Obviously, this year has seen huge disruption in some industries and huge growth in others. It hasn't always all been bad news. Heathrow Airport and the supply chain that we've worked with for many, many years have obviously gone through some pain, but at the same time, it's actually a huge industry very, very close to us, which is the data center industry, which builds the digital highways with which we all connect to services like Netflix, Amazon, Sainsbury's Online or Ocado. And through this great turmoil that we've been through in the course of the last year, the data center industry has reached out and asked if UTC Heathrow would support them in recruiting some of the best engineering talent that they're going to need to continue their growth. So I'm very pleased this is our first public announcement actually, that we're going to be welcoming at least 7 new employers to the UTC starting in September. Probably the only one you'll have heard of is Amazon Web Services, but actually the other companies are all just as big in this area. So we're going to have some exciting projects, particularly in engineering. So the engineering curriculum remains the same. You'll be learning the same stuff in mechanical, electrical, probably some great electronics as well. But also really importantly for the IT curriculum and cyber security, there are going to be some great opportunities to do some brilliant projects and some excellent enrichment. So industry needs you. We're looking forward to recruit the engineers, the digital specialists of the future. Look forward to seeing you all in September. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. I'm now on a computer. Thank you for bearing with me wandering around the UTC. So we've got some frequently asked questions, and those who've heard me before, these are general ones about how long lessons are, where you can get PPE from, what is the PPE we require, lunches and breaks, and different bits. And there are many, many questions that we have in regards to uniform and different aspects. So the uniform is a suit, and the students are dressed no different to what we are as staff. When they get their PPE, which they order from ourselves, what happens is that those jackets, and Mr. Gopal was wearing a jacket, they wear as part of their uniform instead of a suit jacket, and they wear that to school with a shirt and a tie. They wear shoes. It's not trainers. They can wear their PPE shoes or boots, whatever they decide to buy, as well as part of that, because they are either engineers, digital, or engineering, as you might know it. That's really some FAQs. The next bit is about how do you apply to us. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, fill an application form in, go onto our website. If you've already done that and filled an application form, remember to accept if you want to come to us. But what we're going to do in a minute is we're all going to come on screen, everyone you've seen tonight, as such. And what we are going to do then is open for some live question and answer sessions. But if you've got any questions that we don't answer tonight, please email through to info@heathrow-utc.org. and drop us an email and we'll answer those questions as best as possible. So if everyone can put their cameras on, here we go. And we'll all mute ourselves and we're all ready for questions. So Stacey's going to ask the questions. I will direct you or answer them ourselves to the various people who are here. Over to you, Stacey.
Thank you. So we've had quite a lot of questions through. Just a reminder, use the Q&A screen if you do have anything additionally. So the first one is, I'd like to know what provisions you have in place in the event of another lockdown.
We've got a great remote blended learning education program. When the first lockdown came in March last year, we were ahead of the curve. All our students use Office 365, all our students use Microsoft Teams, all our students use OneNote. So when we went into the lockdown, it didn't change for our students because from year 10 onwards, they use those applications from the minute they start. We continued to deliver live lessons in the first lockdown last year, a year ago, all the way through the summer. And this lockdown, we've done exactly the same. So students have followed their timetable. We do remote and blended learning, but I'm going to pass you to Ian because Ian can explain that a little bit more in what we do and how we've done that as part of the engineering and the different courses.
Yes, so within engineering and the BTECs, there were no what's being called tags or CAGs. There were no teacher assessed grades, no centre assessed grades. All the students completed their work last year during the first lockdown, and during this lockdown, work has just continued as normal. We've made some provision for how we address practical classes. We put some classes on earlier in the year that we might normally have done at the end of the year. And now that the students are back in school, the workshops are back in use full time. So really, it didn't actually affect us at all. As Wayne said, we always planned to do lessons online, and that will continue long past lockdown. It benefits the students. It's very professional. They can work from home. It saves some on their travel time, so that they're not always using public transport during rush hour traffic. And it's made things like, we've all had to learn how to Zoom and things like that. Nobody's ever done that before. And it's just an opportunity that the students have used and have taken on board, really.
Yeah, the other thing I would say to add to Ian is that we've been very good with our technology. We've got teachers who we use other applications in line with Microsoft Teams, which is our normal way of working, from the whiteboard section to lots of different Kahoots, to lots of different applications which we embed within our blended learning as such. And we've learned that for the students and using the student feedback and parent feedback of what we delivered, how we are constantly changing and trying to stay ahead of the game to make sure that the students can still progress and get a high quality education.
Is the curriculum at UTC Heathrow similar to other UTC schools?
That's a good question. No, not necessarily. Every UTC has a specialism, and most UTCs have an engineering specialism, but actually the curriculum is its own curriculum devised for us. Michael works across the trust and works with a number of UTCs, and he can tell you in a second that actually our curriculum isn't the same as every other UTC. We're unique in what we do, and they're unique in what they do. The engineering qualification we study at level 3 is the extended diploma in engineering, or the diploma in engineering, or the extended cert in engineering. But we do a general engineering program at level 3 and at level 2. So the reason we do that is the skills that the students have and need to gain are across all the different specialisms within engineering, so that when they go on to an apprenticeship or go work with an employer or go to university, that's when they specialise on a key area. What we do give them is the opportunity to learn more, so that actually they're more rounded and better qualified to move forward. Mike, is there anything to add to that? Because I know you visit a number of UTCs across the country.
Yeah, I think the curriculum is shaped by the employers in the local business community. So what you might see is exactly the same qualification being offered at a number of UTCs, particularly in London, but you might see some subtle variations in the choices of units based upon the makeup of the local business community. So we're very, very heavy on M&E in the Heathrow area, which very luckily suits both the aviation industry that have been long-standing partners and some of the newer growth industries that are in the area. So particularly in engineering, we are adaptive, we are progressive. We seek to shape our curriculum based upon the needs of industry, but at all times that curriculum is its priority is to ensure that a student has a choice of destinations, which means access to the best universities. Not all BTEC curriculum is designed like that. On the IT side, it's pretty much the same in BTEC. So what we want to do is to provide students with the best opportunity to develop the skills and practical abilities that are most needed by industry. So wherever possible, we want to keep that curriculum in line with the progressive nature of industry. Digital industry is actually, sometimes it feels like a race, but we're very lucky. We've got some great teachers on the IT side that are constantly upskilling. So every year they do a new qualification. They have to, if they want to stay abreast of industry. And likewise on the engineering side, it's just a wonderful environment to be in. So the curriculum is supported by the teachers who always want to make it relevant and exciting. So that was probably a long answer, sorry.
No, that's okay. Thanks, Mike.
How many students are in the sixth form?
In total, in year 12, there's 108 students in year 12, and in year 13, there are 50 students. So, we've got close to 160 students in the sixth form. Next year, we're looking close to 200.
Can the options chosen for year 12 be changed?
Jess, over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. So usually once the results come in August, you'll come and enroll. If you've filled out the old application form already, it makes the process for enrollment very simple. You would have opted in your application form online to choose what courses you possibly want to study. Once your results come in, we look at the results. You make the relevant choice in terms of if you want to do A levels with BTECs or solely a 3A level BTEC. And then there's a sort of 2 to 3 week window where if you feel that this is not quite for you, or you want to do the 2 A levels in engineering or IT and take on an A level, we permit that within the first 2 to 3 weeks.
There's one aspect. So I think if during the year you start to struggle, that's when you need to talk to us Mr. Keller, Mr. Wilkins, myself. And what we do then is we look at your program and we try and support you through a guided route to get to where you need to be with the qualifications that happen. So the answer is you can change. We don't necessarily recommend it. If you're going to do it early. The later it is, the harder it is to change, because the amount of work that would have been covered, you need to catch up on, and that then puts you under more pressure.
Do you see the satellite industry as part of your focus?
Mike?
That is a great question, parent or student. Actually, we are making headway into engaging with the space industry. Okay, in our local vicinity to the UTC, which is where we should be primarily focused. Okay, we don't see a huge number of satellite manufacturers in our immediate vicinity. However, we're part of one of the best multi-academy trusts in the country. That's what I think. We've got 4 of the best UTCs in the country within our trusts, and those are spread along the Thames Valley. So Heathrow is part of a family that is generating huge interest from the space industry. So I'll refer to it as the space industry, which includes satellites, okay? So the European Space Agency, which is based in Oxfordshire, is right next door to our sister UTC, UTC Oxfordshire. we have a call lined up with them because they want to engage with the next tier down from university. And the National Space Agency is about 300 meters from UTC Swindon, one of our UTCs. So this, parent, believe you me, this is one of my key focus areas for the next 1 to 3 years, is harnessing the space industry. I can't make any promises about it being in place for September, but I'm sure there's only one thing cooler than building airplanes, and that's building satellites. That's my view anyway. I'm just trying to read Mr. Wilkins' reaction when we talk about satellites, but we will endeavour to try and get some space activities going on at the UTC. It's definitely on our strategic plan.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, we are very lucky in our trust, and I'm one of the leaders in the trust itself, and we do support each other. You know, we are lucky that there are 4 of us as UTCs, and we all we interlink, we support, we visit each other, different establishments, we take students to different establishments so they can see different aspects, and the employers do support us with that. So watch this space is probably the best words I would use.
What percentage of students go on to university?
Applications this year, so there are 39 applications in our current year 13 out of 50 wanting to go to university. So that percentage is quite high. It's about 72%. On average, we get probably a 60-40 split. Around about 60 want to go to uni, 40 want to go apprenticeships, and actually, so it's almost in parallel with each other. I think the more opportunities with the employers we have with the apprenticeships, I think we will even out at 50-50. But currently, this academic year, it's higher, mainly probably due to the scenario that we've all been in with COVID. It's easier to go to university than trying to get an apprenticeship in the current climate because of that. So we've seen an increase in number of applications for university this year. Peter, do you want to add anything to that from an employer perspective and how you see it?
Well, obviously, as you said, we've had to sort of adapt to what's been in front of us. So, we've in terms of the employer engagement, we've adapted the way that we deliver employer engagement with the virtual work experience that we use. So, whilst people do choose alternative sort of routes at the moment, we've still got the opportunity to engage with people through the employers using that kind of technology.
Yeah, thank you. And the good thing about this technology that we're using tonight, and actually what we are doing with our live lessons with students often, is teaching them how it's going to be in the workplace, because lots of meetings happen via this platform. And it's important we are developing those skills so students understand that when they go to work sometimes, that their meetings could be anywhere in the country. And it's not about traveling there now, it's about using the technology and being okay in that. And that's a skill within itself.
I might just add, in terms of, I think somebody asked a question on work experience. So for all Key Stage 5 students, in the past and prior to the lockdown, we ran an incredibly successful pipeline program, which Julie, our parent governor, referred to earlier. This was just getting going. It was amazing. The Heathrow Airport supply chain was all committed, delivering incredible experiences for the kids. So these were guaranteed high quality work placements in teams. Of course, this year, as Peter from Morgan Sindall said, we've had to adapt, right? Students have been taking advantage wherever possible of virtual work experience. We now have commitment to provide every year 12 student with a work placement in the data center industry, if that's what the student wants to do. There's a guaranteed placement on the one condition that you pass their security clearance, because these are very, very high security facilities. So, but that's not going to be a problem, okay? So there are guaranteed work placements for every Key Stage 5 students, right? In an exciting, high-tech engineering environment. Okay, so that's a promise, and that's one of our key unique selling points, is that we are able to provide this because we do have this very high level access to industry.
To add to that, I'm going to pass to Aaron in a second, who will talk about what we have done in regards to work experience this year. And we've done a lot of virtual work experience with lots and lots of employers in the local area and around. Aaron, do you want to just elaborate on that?
Thanks, Wayne. Yep. So in addition to those things, we've been very proactive in providing opportunities. We had 28 students with virtual work experience at Heathrow in diverse fields such as marketing, business, but also construction and engineering and IT. In addition to that, given our location and HS2, which is kind of going through the borough, we were able to send a large number of students into virtual work experience with Skanska, Costain, Strobag, who are in charge of building HS2. As well as that, we've utilised a variety of other online work platforms and provided virtual work experience, speakers for schools, Nearpod, apologies. So we've been really proactive. We've had employers come in and speak with students. So Wavestone, who are a consultancy based in London. We had the Cisco IT Day before lockdown last year, which I believe Mike organised, which was where Cisco came in and spent time with our year 10 students. So we're making sure that all of our students, right from year 10 all the way through to year 13, are getting incredible opportunities, unique opportunities to engage with employers and get that absolutely vital work experience. Sets them apart from many other schools.
Also with that, we've had students as well this year go on the Morgan Sindall work experience and work with UTCs in Norwich as part of that platform, and that was phenomenal what was offered then, and they did a full week as such, based over 5 weeks of a day each week, where they worked in teams with people across the country, not just locally, and that did allow us to do great things, and that was what Morgan Sindall helped to provide for those students.
Yeah, thank you, Peter.
Yeah. Stacey.
There's just a few minutes left. We've got loads and loads of questions coming through. Am I right in saying that we could potentially do a follow-up to answer all of the ones we have on here and send those out after the event?
Yeah, we can do that. We can get the follow-up to answers to those out tomorrow for what we can't answer live now. What any major ones, Stacey? We've got 1 minute before. Is it going to cut us out?
Let's try and get as many. It won't cut us off. No, we'll just try and get through as many as we can.
Let's see what we can do.
Are you likely to hold a taster day for students before September if the situation allows?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We did that last year. We also did a virtual one last year as well for the sixth form students, a taster, and we did some for year 10.
Perfect. There's one about the Ofsted report being, it needs improvement. What steps are you taking to improve? Suggestions given by Ofsted?
It's interesting. The Ofsted report was related to when this school was a completely different school. That Ofsted report was done in 2017. It's 4 years old. It's completely out of date. We expect an Ofsted at any time soon. When we became part of Activate Learning Education Trust, we are a new school. As such, however, that report stays with us, although it's nothing compared to what we were in the past. We are a good school across the board. I strongly believe that, actually trying to be outstanding. And some of the stuff we do here is outstanding, and we're pushing to be outstanding.
We've got a couple of questions through about potentially not achieving grades. Would conditional offers be withdrawn? What would happen?
No, what happens if you don't potentially reach your grade? As I said, we have a level 2 program where engineering is part of that level 2 program, and it ends up being a 3-year course rather than doing straight onto level 3. It means you do a 1 year level 2, and then that allows you the foundations, as long as you get the right grade, to move into level 3.
But
so
that guarantees you a place, right? That guarantees. So if you come to us to do the level 2, you're guaranteed progression into the level 3. So it means you've secured your place anyway.
What bursaries do you offer for students needing financial support?
At sixth form, there's the discretionary bursary that the students get to apply to once they join in September. For those who are what's classed as high needs, there is a special SEN LAC bursary that we apply for in addition to support. But there is a bursary what the government gives us, and we, depending on how many applications, as long as you meet the criteria, you would then get some bursary for travel.
Perfect. We've got about 13 questions left.
So let's see how far we can go.
Okay. Do students need their own laptop to use in school? What equipment will they need?
For the sixth form, yes, year 12s must have a laptop. That's extremely important. For Key Stage 4, no, they don't need one. Generally, a pen, pencil, ruler, math set, calculator is a key one in all the subjects. And I would definitely, sorry, Mr. Surrey's light just went off. I would definitely have that equipment anyway, but for the sixth one, because it's all IT based, everything is Microsoft Teams, assignments are entered there via as part of that coursework. The research they need to do, a laptop is very important.
Great. Okay. What's the dress code for year 12? I know you touched upon earlier business attire.
Yeah, it's business attire, exactly the same as Key Stage 4. There's no set uniform, as long as it's business dress, shirt, tie, shoes, and as I said, you can wear your PPE jacket rather than a normal standard jacket.
Would the sixth formers be on site for 5 days a week?
We're looking at that at the moment in the timetable. We had a long discussion today about that. At the moment, there is a day where they work remotely from home, and whether we can still do that, we need to have a look at. It depends on the timetable itself. I can't promise, but what we will try to do is either, if we can't promise you have a later start, and we'll work that in as part of the world of work and almost like flexible time as such. But that one at the moment is under discussion.
Okay. If I chose my subjects for year 12, but I decided to change them, can I?
Yes.
Great.
That's a simple answer.
Do you have any outdoor space or space to exercise?
That's a really interesting one. We are surrounded by another school with fields. There is limited outdoor space to exercise. What I encourage the sixth formers to do is to join a gym, so that as part of their well-being as such, is to go and exercise when they can as part of the gym. Key Stage 4 are PE lessons, so we do PE for Key Stage 4, so there is some exercise. It's not how I like it, but that's where we are currently.
What are the results for GCSE like in UTC?
Jess, do you want to give, our results are very good. So I'll pass on to Jess to tell you.
Results are very good. So very strong in maths and English. So our pass rate was 90%, just over 90% for maths. And I think it was just over 80% for English. And at combined, it was 86% for English and maths. We had a positive progress 8 of 0.38, I think it was off the top of my head. Yeah, so in terms of our STEM subjects, our maths and English, all the subjects on the whole are very strong, and our results were really good, were excellent last year. So we're really pleased, and the vast majority of the students that studied with us in year 11, I think just over 90% of our year 11s were retained, and they stayed on to year 12, and they're studying either A-levels or A-levels with BTECs or BTECs on their own. So we're really pleased with their positive destinations in terms of getting to sixth form. And some of them are they've been with us for 3 years now, and they're applying to university. So we're pleased with the GCSE results they've got in the last few years, and they hope to improve this year as well, on top of what we did last year.
In regards to A-level, our A-level average grade is a C, and our technical engineering qualifications is a merit plus. And we're slightly upset. We're only 0.3 away from the distinction, which is the top mark in that case. But we're striving to be better, but we are excellent. We have 100% positive destinations where our students go. whether in university employment or to an apprenticeship.
Okay. I think Ian's flagged he'd like to answer this one. Are there any students who are currently in university or have graduated that studied at UTC? As I understand, the school is quite new.
So yes, thank you for that one. Yes, the school is new. So we have had students leave and go to university. And as Mr. Edwards just said, we have 100% positive destinations. So we haven't actually had anybody come back, but literally 2 weeks ago, we had a student who is in their final year of studies now, having left us and managed to achieve a place at a level 6 apprenticeship working for Airbus. So they came back, they're in their final years of study. All the students that go off to university go off to do STEM or engineering type subjects. So we don't actually have any students that have completed their course, but everybody goes off to university that's successful. And we've got this one who just came back 2 weeks ago to talk to us. Thank you.
And we've got lots of apprentices that have gone to companies like Transport for London, right? Who've got a huge sterling engineering early careers program. They do really high tech engineering. There's lots of amazing stories about where our students have gone. You know, even as UTC Heathrow since we came into the trust. It's fantastic.
We've got about 5 questions left. Are you happy for me to carry on? Okay. If I complete the application process after I accept my conditional offer, does this mean I'm tied down to coming to the school, as I'd only want to do A-levels and not any other pathway? So therefore, if I do not achieve the grades required, I would consider one of my other sixth form college offers.
Yeah, that's fine. If you accept, and unfortunately, if you don't get the grades to do the A-levels you want to study, that's fine. Every student has an option to choose wherever they want to go. What we do with you accepting the offer is hopefully we are your first choice, and hopefully you're able to get you on to where you need to go. But we'll support anybody if they don't for wherever they go next. Great.
Okay. You mentioned the industry qualifications which are on offer extracurricularly. Are these often oversubscribed? And if so, how do you prioritise?
They're not. What we do, there are a set number that we buy in. It comes if the student wants to do it. We have all the training material we offer them for every student, so every student can do them at whatever time they suit. So they're not done on a priority. They're not done. We don't run out of them, so it's completely up to the students. They do them independently at their own pace.
Air Cadets, do they meet at RAF Norfolk or at UTC?
No, they meet at the UTC. They do a lot of the stuff at the UTC. They do go off site to Norfolk and other areas, and they do go off flying 5 times a year when that is allowed.
Okay. When do we get a list of all the items we'll need to buy, as this may take some time saving up funds, e.g. laptop, PPE, etc.?
So PPE you can get from us, and we'll be sending more information out next term in regards to that. You buy that from us, it's here in September. What happens is it's paid through parent pay for the PPE. We print the list off, we go downstairs and you get that instantly. The laptop scheme, we are looking at a laptop scheme which I'm following up later this week, and hopefully we'll get out to applicants so they can start applying for a laptop if they want to, or if they've got their own, then that's perfectly fine as well. We do offer a scheme where you can buy it over a number of years, but it's yours at the end of it. It's not the UTC's.
Yeah, so we offer it's like a discounted rate because we're buying in bulk on behalf of the students that are joining. So it provides the parents and carers with the option to finance at a slightly better price than you might see at PC World.
Yeah, it's also cool. Comes with insurance as well.
Mm-hmm.
Final question, and I can see Ian's typing. Sixth form, is the engineering diploma a standalone qualification? If so, is it level 3? I think you might have just answered that one, actually. Ian.
Go on, Ian.
I've just sent it out as a text. I wasn't sure we were going to get to it. Everything we do is worth a level 3. The slide that Mr. Keller was talking about
explains that everything we do is a level 3 and everything we do is worth 3 A levels. So the certificate that you might take in IT or engineering is worth 1 A level, and then alongside that you take 2 standalone A levels, making the 3. You can do the diploma in IT or engineering, which is worth 2, and then alongside that a single A level, or there's the extended diploma, which is worth the 3 A levels. And you know, everything we do is geared up so that students can choose to go to university or to go to an apprenticeship when they finish.
Okay.
That's all the questions.
Hopefully we've answered every question. If not, again, please email us at info@utc at heathrow-utc.org, and we'll be able to answer those questions. If not, thank you for tonight. Thank you for attending. Hopefully we will see your applications and your acceptances, and we look forward to seeing you in September, but we will see you before that, where we'll be hosting some taster sessions in our specialisms, A levels and GCSEs. But that again will be later in the summer term, and probably sometime in early July. When we can, we will be opening the building. We will do face-to-face tours rather than this sort of climate, but hopefully you found this slightly different than any other open event we've had, and thank you all for attending.